really messed up these spreadsheets, can you help me with the maths? Then there's a chance that you're going to help me because we know each other, right? Whereas if I just came up to you in the street and said, showed you my laptop, can you help me with this formula? You'd be like, okay, that's just a bit weird, right? It is a little bit too strange. That's the first thing. Secondly, conversation is a very fault-tolerant medium for the storage of ideas. Okay? If I say, I've kind of got this idea, and I give you half of it, the fact is, because there's a certain amount of trust, you will take the bits that you understand and you believe in and start to add to it, or take the bit that you fundamentally disagree with and start to comment on. But we're able to play around with the idea, and the idea survives. And if we meet, Sue and I have ideas that we were talking about 3 years ago that still come back to the table. It doesn't matter that it's being parked. It didn't need to be written down. And actually it's better that it's not been properly remembered, because our experiences since probably improve the quality of the idea and the thinking that go with it. Okay, so conversation has been very useful for the storage of ideas. So if we think about the trajectory of an idea from an ill-formed thought to a fully formed product, then, and we just simply look at the tools. I mean, at this end we've got Microsoft Office, right? I've got a PowerPoint spreadsheet which will present my idea. I've got a PowerPoint, I've got a spreadsheet that will give you the numbers, and a Word document which will explain the detail, right? It's presentational, it's allowing me to take, these tools allow me to take the idea and pass it on to somebody else, fully formed. And at this end, perhaps I've got voice. I can talk to you on the phone, whatever it is, and we can chat about the idea over distance as well as face to face. And then we've got kind of email in the middle. But there's not been an awful lot until the kind of Web 2 stuff came along. It was, you just did one of those. This was supposed to be conversational and presentational, and people. But what actually happened over time is you start to infill it. We've got voicemail, we've got SMS, we've got Twitter, we've got blogs and wikis, etc. And what happened is, if you look at all of these different things, they go from conversational through sedimentary to presentational. That actually, over time, we start to produce more and more tools that are discussive. Yeah, I mean, Twitter's a very discussive place. Text, the way that people use text, tend to be discussive. Occasionally, here's the address, but mostly it'll be people chatting with each other. I'm a little bit late. I'm on my way back. Have you seen this joke? Do you know where the kids are? What time you come out of school? Whatever it happens to be, right? Okay. But they're all vertical silos, and actually, we as humans still have to join these together. But what is interesting, critically, is that we used to have, you could just talk or you could present it to somebody, and we have infilled a lot of tools, and most recently, which help us with the conversational end of ideas. 5 minutes, okay. So that's just a little bit of background. What we're starting to, the work that we're doing with Reuters and other news organisations at the moment is looking at what we call the third voice. Okay, 3 voices in a room. Everything like this. Okay, there's me stood up at the front, the guy talking, the subject matter expert, the presenter, whatever it happens to be. Might be, and if it's on an earnings call on the city, it might be the chief executive or the finance director. It might be whatever it happens to be. Okay, the artist, the performer. Then we have the guy with the camera, the lady live blogging it or whatever it is. You've got the professional observer, somebody who's going to document what goes on. Okay, but you lot all turn up because you're interested in this stuff and you have an opinion on this stuff. So the informed participant is a voice that we've never heard, right? Even if over coffee you now talk about what I've just said and agree or disagree, that voice disappears into the ether. It is uncaptured. Okay? But if I said to you at the end of each session today, I want you to take out your phone and I want you to text Sue the one cool thing you heard in each session, or I want you to tweet about the most interesting thing that you just heard, suddenly that voice is able to be heard and is able to be captured over time. And if we had a series of events like this over a 2-year period, we're able to aggregate all of those voices and look at the idea trajectories as our perceptions change. Suddenly we're able to hear the voice of the audience. the conversation, the tools and the style and the opportunities created by the conversations over coffee is starting to become more powerful. So this mechanism of trust that we talked about up here, where Sue and I can't have what we call a two drunks collaboration. If we stagger down the street together and I fall over, Sue's going in the gutter as well. Okay? We can't have something where my skills as a ballerina let her down, destroy her quantum foam presentation. What we need is a way of building up trust so that we can have a modular collaboration. So if our bits both work fantastic, if Sue's bit works and my bit doesn't, then her bit still works. Okay? But the way that we figure out how to make that work is by trusting each other, by conversing, by talking things through, and not trying to do things too clever at the start. Over time, hopefully this valley will infill and we'll create some homogeneity amongst heterogeneous groups, okay? And we create a new platform from which we can go onwards and upwards, right? But while we're still looking at teetering pilot plates, it's harder to move thinking on, okay? So in order to go up, the first thing we do is go down. We go down right absolutely to the basics. And a lot of the things that Sue and I have done, a lot of these types of the Amplified Leicester, the Amplified Conference series that I run, Creative Coffee Club, etc., are just mechanisms of trust. It's trying to create the opportunity for us to find new things. Okay? It has been undervalued because it's been undermeasured. It's too difficult to measure the voice of the informed participant. You can do a bit of vox pop. Some cute person with a microphone can run around and capture three quotes. That's not the same as the voice of the informed participant. And actually, I believe that I'm right. But you lot collectively know whether what I'm saying is right or not. Wisdom of crowds is going to be far smarter than the perceived subject matter expert. Okay. So basically, in summary, the cool curve helped us really define what our audience wants, and without that, yes, you can be creative, but it's not necessarily has a utility. And secondly, the key thing is that conversation is both a mechanism of trust and a fault-tolerant medium for the storage of ideas. And if you are to move beyond a teetering pilot plates approach, where you do it all on your own, you need to collaborate. You need to go back to sitting down with a coffee and talking to people. And that's how we do business. Thank you.
Thank you very much.